It's a disgrace. It's not someone else's problem, it's ours, every single one of ours. Society becomes how we behave. We are our behaviors. This has happened on our watch, and all of us, I think, have a responsibility, owe a debt to help lift other people up and get them on their feet.
One of the things I do throughout the day in dispatch is keep track of every individual that the outreach team has come in contact with. The Heart List comes from City of Fresno, and the Heart List is where the outreach workers will go and assess a location. When our outreach team goes out, they do a tally, they introduce themselves, and they offer basic needs. We may not be able to shelter them that day, but we can get services started.
We try to give hope. We build rapport with the people on the streets, get them to trust us, to believe in themselves, to believe that they deserve shelter, that they deserve to be off the streets, and let them know that there's people who care.
The work provided by the outreach workers from the Poverello House are so important. They're able to relate to the homeless population. The homeless people know that they're not there to be judged, they're there to be helped. The outreach workers are very patient with them. I've been to so many relocation operations, and to be able to see firsthand that interaction, that communication that they establish, that rapport that they establish, is something that is to be seen. The outreach workers for the Poverello House are there because they care.
What's your name? Edward? Okay, and are you interested in shelter? Well, this area is going to be no more. What about if you give it a try, and if you don't like it, you don't have to stay there? How's that? Can we just try? Just you can have a warm place to lay your head and try it out. For me, would you do that? Come on.
I can't do that.
Hey, it'll work out. It'll work out.
Poverello House with the City of Fresno is out here today because this was designated as one of the most dangerous encampments in the City of Fresno. And what makes that dangerous is because there's a high incidence of crime, and there's a lot of people, and there's a natural hazard such as a canal. So we're out here today to relocate those people into shelter, and so they can have a fresh start at life.
What folks need to understand in our community is that government can't do it all. We absolutely rely on key assets in our communities, community-based organizations, and in Poverello House's case, an organization with a tradition of St. Francis of meeting people where they are on the street. Nobody does that better than Pop.
We have a lot of territory today to cover, but we'll go together as a team to go take a look at that. Encampment cleanups are a very heavy-duty operational project to do. It involves multiple jurisdictions. Foremost is Poverello House's outreach team, but we also coordinate with the City of Fresno sanitation team, Fresno Irrigation District property that's out here, and we also coordinate with other CBOs that are providing shelter currently. We also have City of Fresno's Heart Code team that is assisting us in making sure that property is carefully documented and stored, and the clients have the belongings that they want.
It's a vicious cycle. It keeps us down here, you know. But hopefully we can get our independence and reintegrate into society. That's what I would like, you know. I appreciate you guys and all you're doing, you know.
One of the reasons that the Poverello team is so critical is who they are. These are folks that care. These are folks, many of whom have lived experience. These are folks that come from all the diverse backgrounds that are represented by Fresno. These are folks that have been through the hard process of recovery, and now recovery has become their resume. So Poverello House is a location. Poverello House is citywide. Poverello House is a gift to our city that we can't afford to be without.
I didn't get the chance to know Papa Mike, but his spirit still lives here on this campus. I got to know him through his book, through his writings, through the staff that worked with him, through the clients who knew him, and I've had the opportunity to kind of get to know him from afar. His legacy is my responsibility to make sure that the work that he started, we continue to carry out in this community because it matters.
I married Mike in 1970, very naive. I was 18 and I didn't know anything about people. He came home one day and he had 9 loaves of bread and a big thing of peanut butter and jelly. And he said, come on, we're gonna make some sandwiches. So we made sandwiches and then we went out and gave them out on the streets of Chinatown here in Fresno. He was on the streets. We were without a building. We had the first building burned down, the second building we were evicted from. Then he was on the streets for like 7 years, handing out from his first our car, and then someone donated a van, and we used that. Then it went from sandwiches to chili beans. People would ask Mike how's it's going, and he would say, oh, it's just chili beans and stitches. He had a really good sense of humor, and I think that's what kept him going a lot of the time.
He was a wise guy. He had a great sense of humor. We always got the kid around. That's what I liked about him. But he was just real. He was just down to earth. He wasn't this high and mighty guy or whatever. I mean, he showed up to work in his overalls every day. He's this Mr. Comfortable guy. His passion was photography. When you go around the building, you'll see the different pictures that he's had, that he's taken of the clients throughout the years. So, and he really had a touch for the homeless. So. I
think in 1983 we started in this building, and it had no kitchen. There were no facilities except for restroom and office rooms. It was a bigger building than we'd had before, so we couldn't really handle it on our own. And he started letting gentlemen off the street come in and stay overnight in exchange for working, you know, doing the kitchen prep and that kind of stuff.
When I first started here, there was 12 employees. We just had one building. Throughout the years, we acquired an older warehouse behind us. We've gotten that, and then we remodeled that in 2017 to the warehouse we have now, which has been great, been long overdue. And then we've gone from like 12 employees to almost 100 employees now.
It's pretty amazing when I look around and see what Poverello has become, but it's still at heart a compassionate place where we care for others. Mike's one-on-one, I still see that out in the courtyard. I hear it on the radio. He determinedly kept at it until people started to respond to him and give and support Poverello. We have never really done this on our own. Even when we started out, there were many hands behind us helping. I remember how much satisfaction it gave me to volunteer at Poverello. Poverello means to me a place to come and be yourself and be accepted for who you are.
When I started, I had the pleasure of working with Mike McGarvin. Great guy. You know, when I first came down here, I thought, oh, this guy's gonna be the saint. You know, maybe he's helping the homeless and anything. And he was just a regular guy. We hit it off right from the get-go. It was a real pleasure. I'm sorry. Mike's just a great guy. It was a pleasure working with him all this time, and I did get to learn a lot from him about the homeless when I was down here. So he'll be missed, and I just hope more people in the community will still remember him, because he is Poverello House. He's what we started, and we're moving on, but it's just good to know that people still know about him. We want to keep that name up.
When I think of Mike looking down at Poverello now, I can still see him in the chair when he used to sit out in maitre d' in the day room. He didn't ever meet a stranger. He was always friendly to everyone, and I think he would be happy to see all this still going on today. I think he would be amazed.
The men's rehab program is at the very heart and soul of Papa Mike. He himself was drug addicted in his life, Through a transformational journey and seeking after God, his life was changed forever. But for him, it was the beginning of knowing that everyone needs a second chance. And that's really what began the drug rehab program. It's the first non-food program that we had at Poverello House. As Papa Mike started to grow the programs, he needed more bodies and hands to do so. He also knew that when we serve, while we're helping someone else, we are the ones who are transformed when we serve other people.
At Poverello House, the men's residential rehabilitation program, it's a year-long program. It gives anyone who is experiencing addiction, that is looking for recovery, an opportunity to get that recovery while you serve your community.
The men can have both job placement services, mental health services, and also life skill services. So it's not only just a drug treatment program, but giving the men tools on how they can become productive members back in the community. What I think our program is so unique is the guys get to interact with both staff, volunteers, and the clients every single day.
Every resident here is assigned a role and a function that is essential to the operations of Poverello House. All the security that you see working in the warehouse, all the men that are cooking in the kitchen, cleaning the pots and pans, those are all program participants, and they're an integral part of the day-to-day operations here.
A lot of times we're able to hire men from the rehab program to be our outreach workers, our case managers, our finance department. That's why it's so important to have our mental health services, because they need the tools to deal with it.
When I was 17, I joined the Marines. I was in the Marines for 8 years, went to Afghanistan twice. I experienced some traumas while in the Marine Corps, and coming home from Afghanistan is when I started to dabble in drugs, and I was drinking heavily, and ultimately it led to my full-blown addiction once I left the Marine Corps. My rock bottom was getting booked into county jail, withdrawing from heroin, facing prison time.
I was a slave to methamphetamine since the age of 16. I've done 13 prison terms. I was at the point in my life where death seemed my only option to beating my addiction. I started calling programs. No programs were accepting people. Poverello House said, come on down. I just knew that this is the place that I was supposed to be.
These guys are coming from a prison system or jail system, so trust is a big factor. We want to make sure they're welcome in this space. And the unique thing about therapy is to help reduce some of those symptoms that come with addictive personality. The therapeutic space allows them to open, to be free, to express their emotions, to write things down on a piece of paper, and also to share amongst the group, as we are here today in the group therapy room, to really express those feelings that have never gone before. And to figure out the cognitive part of that is the most crucial part in the recovery base.
I did really good in the program. I was the president in the program. I was on security. I helped build MapPoint. I did a bunch of work here outside of what was expected of me. I learned stuff about myself being in the program that I didn't even know about myself, that I had a compassion for helping people, you know, and because I'd done so much wrong in my life that I feel like I was able to give back here just a little bit, you know, and it's satisfying for me.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to work here as the job developer. I help all the program participants in their last 30 to 60 days here in the program. I help them develop a resume, conduct mock interviews, do applications, transportations to interviews, help them with all the soft skills and also financial literacy, which I think is very important. I've seen numerous success stories come through Poverello House. It's amazing. The men's residential rehabilitation program really works for a lot of gentlemen. I know for myself, it was exactly what I needed at exactly the right time in my life.
This place saves lives. It saved my life. It saved my marriage. If it wasn't for Papa Mike and him founding this, I feel like I don't know where I would be, you know? I owe a lot to this place, and I'm so grateful to be able to work here.
I was willing to do anything. I was willing to do everything to get my life back. And I think if someone can come in with that attitude, where there's nothing that's gonna get in their way and they're willing to do anything, then I think they have a real shot at success.
Naomi's House is the only shelter for single homeless women here in Fresno County. And what we try to focus on is healing the woman and address their unique needs. So we're very excited that this is going to be our 20th anniversary. We're looking forward to do a major rehab project that will actually provide even more beds for our women here who are living in Fresno County and are experiencing homelessness.
Well, it was very different. I mean, I didn't expect this ever to happen, but it did, you know. So I had my own home for 34 years, and then I sold it. And then I came out here to get help, to get me into a place, and I found it. I found a place, permanent place, and I'm happy.
You know, you come into a house full of ladies and you don't know any of them, and you're used to being by yourself, and then all these different personalities come together. It's kind of hard, but I'm glad that she was able to work with me, and I was able to calm her down in certain situations where she felt overwhelmed. And I was able to tell her, you know, we're here to help you.
Case managers are there as that walk alongside. Almost look at it in the sense of like a friend. I am here to uplift you even when you're ready to give up. Even when you don't believe it, I'm gonna believe in you. And when you're ready, I'm gonna be here next to you, guiding you.
But when she first came to me, we had to collect all her documents. And after that, we did an assessment to see where she was at. We sent out a referral for her so that way we could match her to a housing project. And now she's gonna have her own apartment.
All right, so what's on the agenda today?
We have to load up the van today, and we have to get all her stuff, and we're gonna go take her to do a walkthrough of her apartment, and she's gonna be moving in today.
Very exciting. I like it.
You're ready to get all your stuff?
Yes.
Part of case management is understanding your client and understanding what they want at the end of the day. Naomi's House is a safe place to come for women, and we open our doors to anybody that just needs anything, whether it's legal services, whether it's mental health services, or even if it's down to financial services. We help women get jobs, and I think that we need that in our community, because as women, we forget sometimes, you know, that it's okay to lean on one another. So we try to be that, and I just want them to make sure that they feel comfortable and like they're heard here at the Naomi's House.
She did a great job, you know. Yeah, anything that I needed, if she could, you know, she helped me. You know, she was there for me, and that made me feel great, you know, because my family abandoned me, you know. I got abandoned, and she helped. So I am very grateful for her.
I love you.
I started here in November 2019. What I saw when I walked through the Village of Hope was people that were in tough sheds. No heating, no air conditioning, no electricity. But it was time for a change, and it was the right time to move forward in that way. I wanted to see the fastest way that we could get rid of these tough sheds and put something better here. So these pallet shelters are amazing. They're called pallet shelters because they come in on big, huge pallets off a truck. And they're just piece by piece put together, and all of a sudden you have shelters over a 4-day period, and you're ready to go with people in the beds, getting off the street, getting those services that they need as they move on to the next stage in their lives.
I was very skeptical of the Village of Hope, and here's why. Fresno had a long history of putting the homeless in tough sheds and calling them temporary housing. After 30 years, those tough sheds were still there, housing people. Zach convinced me through his plan and through his execution that Village of Hope is not defined by the structure of a shelter, but by the programming and their success rate to move people into permanent housing.
Every single person comes in with a plan that's made. We call it a housing plan. Every week, a case manager meets with the clients who are in the Village of Hope to progress in that plan towards housing.
That's the one thing what I love about POV, the case management, which is also offered in the Village. We don't walk behind you or pull you forward. We walk alongside you.
Village to Amy?
Go for Amy.
I practice.
You know that. We currently have 60 clients right now. We start working on their needs. The staff here is focused on that. They come here for their basic needs, and then we just want to build them up to where by the time that they get housed, they have their self-confidence back. We have a lot of clients that have built really good foundations and bonds with other people. Trisha, it's Amy. Hi. Hi. How are you? Fine. So we have some people that were wanting to know your story. You want to tell us a little bit about it? Hi, baby.
I just got matched for housing, and that I'm really grateful for. I can't believe it. If I wouldn't have come to the Poverello house, I wouldn't be where I am, you know, getting a place and everything like right now. I wouldn't have. I have my little sign that says, lifestyles of the poor and unknown, because that's what pretty much I've been all my life, is poor and unknown, but rich in heart, though, rich in heart. Look at what I got at the store the other day. Now watch the fan. Is that cool or what? That is cool. I couldn't believe it. It had candy in it. This place has just been phenomenal. It's the people that run it. They're just doing a wonderful job. And if I wasn't here, I don't know where I would be. It wouldn't be pretty, though, I know that. I just want my life to get better, and I'm on the pathway. I know it right here. This is the start.
I came here with nothing, and I'm leaving here with a job and an apartment. Case manager called me last Thursday, and told me that my apartment came through. So I mainly wanted the job, and I got that first, and then the apartment came through. It made the deal even sweeter. So just have to be patient. Be patient, and you'll succeed. The Village of Hope has meant very much to me. It meant so much for me. I mean, I'm at a loss of words, to be honest with you. You see, I can't stop smiling. So it's been great.
So what I liked about Zach coming in is his willingness to invest not only in Poverello House, but invest in the clients and invest in staff. He's full of energy and ideas and really capitalized on the great talent that was always here. Poverello House has always been wonderful since Papa Mike started. But I think what's wonderful about Zach is he's able to really build on that foundation and continue and rise it up so it encompasses a lot more services.
There was a lot of work to be done. The truth is that the campus had little investment just because of the lack of resources and ability to do so for probably about 30 years. And so as I walked around, I think one big thing that I saw was just the potential that there was in this place. Not that it wasn't great before, just that there's potential for us to do more. All of the support that comes into Poverello House, we take very seriously. It is a responsibility that is so important to us that it is in our mission statement to be good stewards of the providential and community support that comes into this place. I think this community has been really excited about what has been happening at Poverello House. When you walk on campus today, if you walked on this same campus 2 years ago or so when I started, you see a completely transformed place. We've added so much. We've added new buildings. We have a new laundry and shower facility. Of course, the Village of Hope, clothing warehouse. I mean, when you walk on this campus, you also see a solar project here on campus. You see a shade structure that has solar panels. We have come a long, long way in a short period of time. The only possible way we've been able to do that is through the community support. The community makes this place work every day and has allowed us to grow into what we are today.
Zach's out there every day trying to make a difference and pushing the envelope. And I think that's what makes him very special. And that's what's ultimately going to make the Poverello House special.
Every dollar going to Poverello House, it's going right to our clients, and they're benefited from it, so it's been great.
There's a lot more work to be done, and I think the excitement that this community has felt here at Poverello House over these last 2+ years will also be with us as we move forward to the next chapters. The future is bright at Poverello House. We have a family shelter that's opening up. We're opening up another Village of Hope project not too far from here. We're talking about even other Village of Hopes throughout the community. We're very excited about all of the work that is in store. And if you're watching this special and you're wondering about Poverello House, you are what allows us to do that work. And all of those dollars and all of your contributions go to the exciting future that we see here at Poverello House as we serve more and more people in a more and more special way.
In 2022, the Poverello House will prepare and serve over 1 million meals, staff over 100 employees, provide shelter at 6 sites, ensure nearly 75,000 shelter nights, provide over 65,000 showers and 25,000 loads of laundry, open 3 new facilities, begin to raise over $5 million for renovation projects, receive over 25,000 volunteer hours, make daily contact with at least 110 people living on the streets. But our heart, that's hard to measure.
Pray that y'all continue the good work y'all do.
They're going to accept you and help you rebuild your life.
Good to have a place like this that looks out for people. People need it.
The Poverello House is there to help to assist our community to get back on their feet, to stand up and to start working forward.
People down here, no matter who you are, what color you are, what race you are, what you're going through, they're there to help you regardless.
What makes this remarkable organization work is a recognition, customizing services, meeting people where they are, not being judgmental, and recognizing that everybody has the capacity to turn their lives around.
The Poverello House really does care. If you want to help yourself, they will do anything and everything, go over and above to help. They've done that for me.
What makes the Poverello House special is their heart. They're out there on the front line, and it demonstrates the love that they have for this community and for the people in which we're serving.
Join us this Thursday, April 7th, here on ABC 30 for the Call for Hope Telethon, where you can learn more about the Poverello story and how you can support everything we do.